A very good evening and a warm welcome to the Business Roundup on our television. I am Pamudda Katagampala. Let's look at the key developments in the business arena for the going week. Before that, we will move to the top stories for today. No plans to separate Port City from the Colombo district, Port City officials assures. Inflation drops to 3.9% in March 2021, CBSL says. The European Union issues over 9 billion rupees to promote dialogue between communities and local governments. News in detail. Officials from the Colombo Port City announced that the establishment of such a city must be seen as essential for Sri Lanka to strengthen its economy. The head of public relations of the Port City project, Kassapa Sinrath, mentioned that no plans were there to separate the Port City from the Colombo city and it will purely be an extension to the Colombo city.
මේ කොළඹ නගරයේ ආර්ථික මර්මස්ථානයේ විදිහට සැලකෙන කොළඹ කොටු ආශ්‍රිත ප්‍රදේශය මේ විදිහට අලුත් ගොඩබිමක් නිර්මාණය කළ එක වාණිජමය අරමුණු සඳහා භාවිතා කිරීම තමයි මේකේ සරල අදහස. ඒ නිසා කැරෙන්නේ මේක වෙනම කලාපයක් විදිහට කොටු කරලා ගේට්ටු දාලා ටිකට් කඩලා භාවිතා කිරීම මේකේ කොයිම අවස්ථාවකවත් එහෙම අපේ අරමුණක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. මූලික සැලැස්මේ ඉඳලා ගත්තාම මේක නගරේම පුළුල් කිරීමක්, නගරේම දිගුවක්. ඒ අනුව නගරයට පැමිණෙන ඕනෑම කෙනෙකුට නිදහසේ කොළඹ වරාය නගරයට ඇතුළු වීමට පිටවීමට අවශ්‍ය සැලසුම් ඒ නගරයේ සැලසුම් කරන්නේ ඇතුළෙන්ම සඳහන් කරපු සැලසුම් කරපු නගරයක්.
The total market turnover on the Colombo Stock Exchange grew by 29.43% in April 2021 in comparison to the previous month. According to a CSE statement, market turnover was 53 billion rupees, with domestic turnover surging by 64%, suggesting an increase in demand among Sri Lankan investors.
The benchmark all-share price index closed at 7,208.20, while the S&P SL20 index closed at 2,869.25. The average number of transactions closed at 22,037, and the market capitalization stood at 3.2 trillion rupees during the month. With the debt issuance of the Ceylon Electricity Board and the initial public offering of Criswold Limited on the Empower Board, the primary sector has seen increase in capital raising. On the first day, all issuance were oversubscribed, raising 20 billion rupees and 56.25 million rupees respectively. Windforce Limited was listed on the CSE in April and the company obtained a total foreign investment of 531 million rupees on the first day of trading. As a result, foreign equity purchases totaled 17.1 billion rupees at the end of April 2021. The CEO of the Colombo Stock Exchange, Mr. Rajiva Bandaranaike, stated that the CSE is pleased to see similar levels of investor and issuer confidence in the stock market, and this is a continuation of the momentum seen in the first quarter and a positive mood registered at the start of the second session of the year.
The Cabinet of Ministers has given the nod to the proposal submitted by the Minister of Tourism for entering into a Memorandum of Understanding to improve the quality of educational programs at the Sri Lanka Tourism and Hotel Management Institute. Co-Cabinet spokesman Minister Kehelio Rambukwala revealed this at the weekly Cabinet press conference last week.
The key goal of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Sri Lanka Tourism and Hotel Management Institute and the EHL Consultancy Services Company Limited of New Delhi, India is to improve the quality of educational programs at the Sri Lanka Tourism and Hotel Management Institute. In collaboration with the Swiss Embassy, the initiative will conduct an observational report on the condition of educational facilities. Moreover, the Cabinet has accepted the Minister of Ports and Shipping's proposal to obtain the legal draftsman's approval for a national regulatory system for vessels that participate in commercial activities in territorial waters. The Export Development Board, the Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade and the Ministry of Naval collaborated to establish this regulatory mechanism. Accordingly, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa's proposition to table the Central Bank of Sri Lanka's annual report in Parliament, which he made as Minister of Finance, was accepted by the Cabinet last week. The annual report of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka for the year 2020 was submitted to the Minister of Finance on 30th of April.
The headline inflation fell to 3.9% in April from 4.1% in March 2021, as determined by the year-on-year change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index. According to the CBSL statement, the downturn was caused by monthly price declines in the food segment.
The statement released from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka states that the food inflation fell to 9% in April 2021 from 9.6% in March 2021, while non-food inflation remained stable at 1.8% in April 2021. The monthly shift in the Colombo Consumer Price Index was marginally lower in April 2021. This was attributed to price drops seen in food category. Prices for coconut, vegetables, red onion and big onion in the food segment fell in April 2021. Meanwhile, prices in the non-food sector increased during the month owing primarily to a rise in the transport subcategory supported by the sale of lubricant oils. Core inflation measured by year-on-year, which represents underlying inflation in the economy, fell slightly to 3% in April 2021 from 3.1% in March 2021. Accordingly, annual average core inflation in April 2021 remained constant at 3%.
Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Tourist arrivals dropped by 9% to 4,168 in April compared to March 2021, owing to the global and local spike in COVID-19 cases. According to data released by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, arrivals dropped by 97.3% to 13,797 in the first 4 months of this year compared to the same period last year.
The major drop of tourist arrivals reflects the evolution of COVID-19 and its effect on the travel and tourism industry. In April 2021, India was the highest source of tourist traffic to Sri Lanka, accounting for 19% of total traffic, followed by China, accounting for 11.4%, Kazakhstan, Germany and the United Kingdom accounting for 10.1%, 9.2% and 8% respectively. With 50.9% of total traffic received in April, Europe became the most important source country, followed by Asia and Pacific, totaling for 35.7% and America accounting for 10%. The incremental rise of the Indian market is notable, while the inclusion of countries from the America, Western, Central and Eastern Europe and the Asia-Pacific region among the top source markets illustrates Sri Lanka's tourism industry gradual revitalization. In contrast to overall arrivals in the same time frame a year ago, Kazakhstani arrivals significantly increased in the first 4 months of 2021. Kazakhstan had the most arrivals in the first quarter with 2,746 as a result of the national carrier's daily flights.
The strengths and capabilities of the Sri Lanka's construction industry was highlighted and the officials were informed about the available opportunities in a country like Nepal. This brainstorming session took place recently as the Sri Lanka Embassy in Nepal had organized a webinar in collaboration with the Export Development Board.
Construction industry stakeholders from Sri Lanka and Nepal discussed areas for strengthening cooperation in a webinar held between stakeholders of the two countries. In his opening remarks, EDB Chairman Suresh Dimal described Nepal as a significant market for joint ventures in the construction industry and elaborated on the strengths and capabilities of the Sri Lanka's construction industry to serve the international market. He emphasized Sri Lanka's skills in green construction, urban planning, soil and geology, hydropower and low-cost housing. Ambassador of Nepal, Himali Arunatilaka highlighted the event as a chance to turn the mutual relationship between Sri Lanka and Nepal into a fruitful economic partnership. She shared her expectation that the interaction would provide prospects for capacity development and education programs in addition to business relations. Both parties accepted the ability to reinforce ties, form alliances, and discuss business and technological arrangements and joint ventures. The webinar drew about 100 people from both nations representing business bodies, technical societies, and construction firms. The discussion concluded with both parties deciding to form joint and individual relationships in order to continue the discourse about potential future partnerships.
The European Union issues over 9 billion rupees to promote dialogue between communities and local governments by improving access and quality of services at local level. The activities are implemented by the World Bank, United Nations Development Programme and the British Council together with the Asia Foundation in partnership with the State Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government Affairs as well as the Ministry of Justice.
The European Union and the State Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government Affairs co-chaired the first National Steering Committee for the Strengthening Transformation, Reconciliation and Inclusive Democratic Engagement Programme recently. The project, named as STRIDE, is a multi-stakeholder initiative worth over 9 billion rupees funded by the EU to promote dialogue between communities and local governments by improving access and quality of services at local level. The activities are implemented by the World Bank, United Nations Development Programme and the British Council together with the Asia Foundation in partnership with the State Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government Affairs as well as the Ministry of Justice. Under the STRIDE umbrella, World Bank provides small grants to local authorities, UNDP provides capacity building and the British Council together with TAF promotes mediation as an alternative dispute resolution mechanism at the community level. The officials said that the program as well as its National Steering Committee is ready to listen to voices from local authorities at national, provincial, district and local levels. The STRIDE program is expected to run until 2023 and to be benefit approximately 1 million Sri Lankans under over 100 local government authorities in the northern, eastern, Uva and north central provinces.
Trade Minister Bandula Gunawardena told the Parliament that the country is not in an economically strong position to go for a countrywide lockdown. Despite the requests from the opposition to lock down the country, Trade Minister Gunawardena said last year's economic growth was contracted to minus 3.6% due to the lockdown.
සමහර අය කියනවා මේ ව්‍යසනය තුල කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වැළැක්වීම සඳහා රට ලොක්ඩවුන් කරන්න. ඔක්කොම වහන්න. වැව්වොත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳ ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. වහන්න කියලා වාපු එකේ ප්‍රතිඵලය තමයි ඍණ 3.6ට ආර්ථිකය වැටුණා. දැන් අපේ රටේ ඔබතුමත් දන්නවා මේ ආර්ථිකයේ තිබෙනවා නිෂ්පාදනය, පරිභෝජනය, හුවමාරුව කියලා ප්‍රධාන ක්‍රියාවලීන් තුනක්. පරිභෝජනය හැරුණාම නිෂ්පාදනය සහ විනිමය කියන දෙක ආර්ථික ක්‍රියාවන් දෙක නතර වුණොත්, ගුවන් තොටුපළ වැහුවොත්, වරාය වැහුවොත්, කර්මාන්ත ශාලා වැහුවොත්, කෘෂිකාර්මික කටයුතු සඳහා යන්න ඉඩ නොදුන්නොත්, මුළු රටම වැහුවොත් ඒ ඇතිවන පීඩනය එක් අංශවල කවර ප්‍රමාණයෙන්ද කියන එක පිළිබඳ තක්සේරුවක් අපිට නැහැ.
With that, we will be winding up for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at 7:45 p.m. Take care and good night.